Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Tom Douglas. I'm with RAE, and joining us today we have Tom Kochevar of RAE Systems. Tom's been in the gas detection game for almost 20 years now. Long stint with RAE Systems, but had some other positions in the safety industry. Good old stint at Standard Safety, Survive Air, Biosystems, Bueller, and MAPA Glove. Couple housekeeping items. We will be recording this webinar, so if you want to view it another time or want to share it with somebody, you'll be able to do that. The recording will be available at raeco.com on our training page. Also, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please use the little question box in the lower right-hand corner and go to webinar. You're probably familiar with using that. And we'll address those when we get towards the end of the presentation. Again, that should be about it. Tom, thanks for joining us. Thanks for putting this together. And I'll pass the floor over to you.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great day. Listen, I'm going to share some. We got a great slide presentation here. I'm going to share some great stories, hopefully for you, maybe tell a couple jokes or so, try to keep it light. If you guys have any questions, please make sure that you go ahead and submit those questions to Tom, and we'll be able to address them at a time. If you want us to go back, just type in the word back or whatever. But I'm going to try to make this as fun and painless as possible so that you guys don't feel like it's death by PowerPoint this afternoon. And as Tom mentioned to you, I work for a Honeywell company called RAE Systems. And RAE Systems was purchased by Honeywell in April of 2013. And basically, they bought three companies in one. They bought our PID technology, they bought our wireless technology, and they also bought an R&D company. And what that means for you guys is there's a TV commercial here in the Chicago market. It's a Walter E. Smith commercial, and their slogan is, "You dream it, we'll build it." And RAE Systems has been dealing with gas detection, our wireless technology and gas detection, mostly in oil and gas, oil platforms, and chemical and petrochemical industries for almost 15 years. And we were kind of thrusted into that in the beginning in the early 2000s. So a lot of it stemmed from single gas to four gas PID, and then of course with area array technology. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try not to jump around too much with you guys, but a lot of the stories that I'm going to share with you folks is going to be from real-time experience. I've been with RAE Systems for almost 9 years, and I covered 10 states here in the upper Midwest, from the Chicago market, Indiana, all the way to as far northwest as North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas. So, I've seen a lot of people in a lot of spaces and a lot of different situations. And in November of last year, Honeywell released the Connect Safety Solutions project. And what this is they're taking the different technologies. And what I mean by technologies, I'm talking portable instruments, fixed instruments, wireless instruments, and putting it all on one platform with our computer programs called ProRAE Guardian. This is a great system that a lot of people will utilize in a way that it'll customize their application for gas detection, fast, quick response for first responders, ELKI people, plant managers, things like that. So I think what you're going to see here is a snippet of what we can do. When a lot of people review this slideshow, immediately the thoughts start going through their mind on how wireless technology can be effective. Now, 15 years ago, when cell phones were still new, people were still using payphones, and they were still using their landlines. And obviously, in the early to mid 2000s, everybody seemed to have a wireless phone or some type of a smartphone. And that's the direction that gas detection is going. It's taking a little bit longer because it's not that easy, but RAE Systems figured it out. When Honeywell bought RAE Systems and they basically took Honeywell technology from maybe their fire safety and their wireless platform, and they combined it with the works of RAE Systems, it really did come to a head, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So moving right along, what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about the agenda. We're going to talk about enterprise challenges. We'll talk about the safety culture and assessing gas detection in general. We'll introduce you to the Connex platform. Whoops. We'll talk about the differences between the Connex, the Pro, and the components that make up a gas detection. But we seem to think that RAE Systems, or the Connex platform, is the most intelligent wireless gas detection on the market. Now, for those people out there who may not think or like gas detection, they'll say, well, these are the challenges that we face all the time, especially with confined spaces. Like, I need to comply with OSHA, or I don't have time to set up. The monitors have to work out of the box. A lot of people have problems with quality issues, more or less. My workers are not gas detection experts. It has to be easy. A lot of these guys can't even screw a cap on a ketchup bottle, and we're throwing a $1,000 gas monitor in their hands. Our workers need to concentrate on their jobs. People think gas detection is more of a distraction rather than a compliant or a helpful piece of a tool for them to make their job work correctly. It's dangerous, or they're not productive. People seem to shut their minds off about gas detection. But from a solution standpoint, it's always on, and the instrument is always connected. From a gas detection standpoint, real-time data is fed back to a main computer somewhere located on your site. Your pre-configured pack with powers, batteries, turn on. It's a turnkey system. It's easy to turn on and use, period. In other words, the lowest part of our Connex platform is the pack, which you're going to see in a little bit. It is a turnkey situation where you can actually open up the case, start up the meters, and within however long it takes to start the meters, you'll have a wireless platform immediately. And then, of course, when they see how the units function, the workers feel safer. The stress is reduced. You get higher productivity and less mistakes. In other words, people aren't thinking about their gas monitors. They're thinking about the task that they're doing at that particular time. The solution sales approach, the old way was see gas, go beep, delayed response. People think, okay, it's a high cost to connect them. There's no way I'm going to afford a wireless platform. IT will get in the way. They'll destroy that idea in no time. Data logging, nobody cares about data logging. Radio reporting of data, no analytics. Nothing is bubble-proof. Remember I said these guys can't even cap a bottle of ketchup. Remember what I'm saying. Some of these guys just aren't Rhodes Scholars by any means. Gas detection requires expertise. People think that gas detection, you have to be, again, some type of an engineer, but that's absolutely false. The trust factor was very, very difficult, and some people think that wireless is really just that another widget sale. But the new approach that a lot of people are doing with gas detection, especially what I do, is wireless is everywhere and it's immediate response. In most cases, when I do demos, if I put it into alarm, the signal will go to my computer or to my Echo View and it'll go into alarm before the meter goes into alarm. So in other words, chances are the user doesn't even know his monitor is going into alarm. You know that his monitor is going to alarm before he does. The low cost of the low connection cost. People don't understand really how inexpensive it is to have a wireless system. 24/7 real-time data views at any location. In other words, you can have the system running constantly and you're getting information sent back to you and you can evaluate it. Data analytics and historical readings. This is great for workman comp claim. It's great for people who live outside the refinery or chemical plant with suspicious smells. If they say, okay, well, at about 8:30 on a Sunday night, I couldn't even stand on my back porch because it was just, my eyes were burning or it just had an awful H2S smell. Well, tell you what, let's go to the data logger and let's see if we have anything along the fence line. We can see it in real time. It verifies work rules, and of course the solution sale is we're solving a problem. Again, you dream it, we build it, and that's the important part of gas detection. People feel that their questions or their concerns are being taken care of. Now, at Connex, basically, there's three types of enterprises that we have. Whoops, excuse me. There's safety, productivity, and compliance. Okay, the safety people are basically reactive to procedures and limit protection. From a productivity standpoint, they are labor-intensive operations and they diminish performance. And then also you have compliance people who trust-based work rules and increase liabilities. So as you can see, these cogs all work together, but how do you do that? Basically, these are the challenges, and let's look at compliance. How many gas detectors are due for calibration or are currently in use within the facility? How many times have you been in front of your customer and they say, does it tell me that it's been recently bumped or calibrated? A lot of people can say, no, I don't know this. Well, with the Connect Safety Solutions, you have the ability to do that with our bench data, our test bench. It'll basically tell you, when the last time the unit was calibrated or bump checked, or what's the date on what's the expiration date on that sensor. So you can do that information right there with the Connect Solutions. How can you ensure accurate permitting of confined space without limiting operation downtime? And how many gas alarm incidents are not being documented? Can you honestly go into any facility and ask how many times your meters have been going off? A lot of workers will just use it, or they'll ignore their warnings, their alarms. This way, if there's something going on, people cannot ignore their gas alarms. And that's a very big problem in the gas detection world. I see it all the time. Actually, I saw it yesterday at an oil refinery where a guy was telling me that they just are used to the beeps in the background. I said it would drive me crazy if I had to work and have that thing beep 2 or 3 times a second, because to me, you don't even have a gas detection program. It's a nuisance thing. Here's some other challenges from the safety aspect. Okay, who's been exposed? Whoa, hold on a second. Who's been exposed, and what is their health status in the area that they are located? So if you do have an exposure, when did it happen? How often does it happen? Is the health, can you radio that guy and say, hey, are you doing okay? Are you standing upright? Are you lightheaded or whatever? Is the alarm an actual event, or is it just a malfunctioning sensor? These are very important questions to ask, because this is how you keep a steady gas detection program, by maintaining the units. Because in most cases, if you go to facilities, a lot of guys don't, maybe there's one competent person who is in charge of calibrating and bumping instruments, but what if he's not there? What if he's on vacation? How can we account data long-term chemical exposures for chronic health issues? This happened to me at at a steel plant. A guy calls up and says, I'm having some respiratory problems. And the guy says, well, how long has it been? He's like, I think it's probably like August of 2013. Well, literally, you can save your data on your laptop with the Connect solution, and you can go back to July of 2013, August, September, October, November, and you can actually see what that person, when he was checked out, what his monitor was reading and what was going on. And if it was reading 20.9000, obviously he's having some other issues. So from a workman's comp claim, it really is an incredible tool for you to have, that if you have everybody's information on your laptop, because remember, guys, it's software. So you can actually have gas detection from August 2013, September 2013, and save these as files. And if you have to, you can say, okay, well, what did Johnny check out? What was his gas monitor? His gas monitor was 014. And you can look at 014 throughout those months and say, okay, was he overly exposed? What kind of proof does he have that it was a workplace-related environment problem? From a productivity standpoint, gas detection instrument fleet management includes functional checks during major turnarounds. When you guys got hundreds of people going in and out of a refinery or a chemical plant that they're rebuilding, and you got these guys that they really don't care about their gas monitors. They need to have one on their body at all times. It's important that the monitor that they have will have a check mark on it saying that, yes, it's been calibrated, or yes, it's been bump test, so that they have complete compliance of a working monitor on their body at all times. Generating regulatory compliance reports in a timely fashion. I don't know if you guys ever been exposed to an audit, but if someone gets knocked down and it's called quarantining a monitor. They basically take the monitor, they shut it down, you put it in a baggie, and then there's people from OSHA, and there's people from that refinery or fire department's management, and they're looking at the meter, and they throw gas at it, and believe me, your heart doesn't stop pounding until that meter reaches 20.9000, and you do your calibration and bump checks. It is quite an amazing situation that I hate to have anybody go through. So generating compliance reports is very, very important for us. And then, of course, how can we maintain employee confidence in a gas detection program? I can't tell you how many places I've been into where they'll put the gas detection down and they'll be working 25, 30 feet away from it. I actually had one company said, well, do you have a motion detector on our monitors? And I said, well, yeah, we do. He says, good, because I want to put it on, because these guys, what they'll do is they'll crawl in a hole and they'll fall asleep. And their monitor is still reading 20.9000. It's data logging, everything's working fine. But people just somehow just don't give a darn about gas detection. They just think that they're invincible. So we really have to take that, we have to meet that head on, and we have to get that aspect out of gas detection for these people. On an EHS program, which category best describes your organization's safety culture? We at RAE Systems find that there's about 4 different types of customers out there. There's reactive, a preventative, a proactive, and advanced. And it's a very thin line between each one of these positions. Reactive is just basic compliance, standalone, just trust-based policies, whatever the company says, you just go with it. And then there's preventive. Preventive is just, it's an elevated safety concern, kind of like the beginning of oil refineries, I'm sure. Streamlined operations, they have calibration programs. And then there's proactive, the people that use enhanced safety. In other words, they anticipate the issues. If this happens, that's going to happen. So there's a lot of action-reaction with those customers. They verify their policies. They automate operations. Those are the guys that are buying the calibration stations. It doesn't matter if it's RAE Systems, Industrial Scientific, MSA, BW, whoever. But these people, these are the people that we really, really want to focus on, because they tend to be very excited about gas detection, and they take gas detection very seriously. All the way down from the guy who sweeps the floors all the way down to the safety officer. And then, of course, you got your advanced customers. The people from proactive usually jump to advanced because they want to take their gas detection to the next level. They want to go wireless. They want to have the policies enforced. They want to have calibration programs. They want to be able to have good record keeping. You can have all that with these customers, but the customers that are maybe they faced a fine in the past, or they had a worker go down, or they had a couple knockdowns. Those are the people that are really the ones that go to advance and really benefit from a wireless platform. So as you can see by this arrow, it just is it's a steady progression. It might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, it might take 10 years to go from a reactive to advance. And I can honestly say ExxonMobil here in Joliet, for a long, long time they were in preventative, but boy, oh boy, now they're in the proactive and on the verge of the advanced stages. And the reason for it is because of workman's comp claim. They have so many people going in and out of those facilities. They need good record keeping, and they basically look at me and say, how can we do this? This is the Connect Safety Solutions that we're going to talk about. There are 3 levels of types of gas detection platforms. The beginning is the Connect platform, and that was what I was talking about, where you open up a case, you fire up your monitors and your little wireless platform, and what it'll do is it's a turnkey operation. There is no tuning, no pre-programming on your part. As soon as you pull it out of the box, this box is ready to go. You can run up to 8 different people on one Echo view, which we'll get to in a second. And if you look at it from a team perspective, it's a task more or less. I find this mostly for confined space entries, where it's by law that you're supposed to have a lookout outside the confined spaces. Well, what if you have multiple confined spaces going at one time? You got 2 people in 2 different confined spaces, and you're the only lookout. With our wireless solution, you can actually monitor both at the same time. So really, this is an hour. It's usually rated in hours, increments, and periodic. This can be deployed periodically. And the second one is the Connect Plus, where people will actually want to extend their distances from the host computer. It's a little bit more sophisticated, of course. but now you can start grouping in third-party products. We're kind of look at RAE Systems as BASF, like during football, during football games. We don't make the weather pack; we make it wireless. We don't. This is a Dust Track 2. TSI makes the Dust Track 2. We make it wireless. So if you have that mentality, what a lot of people will do is they say, okay, I want to customize myself. For instance, I had an end user down in St. Louis. He wanted to do, his company was in charge of doing the air quality control for a hospital demolition. So what he did was he ordered area arrays, dust, a weather pack, and the computer, and he was able to monitor 24/7, 7 days a week, and he was able to get all this information. So if any construction worker, any hospital worker complained about any type of aches and pains or any type of disturbances, they could go back to the data logger and they can say, okay, on December 13th, we monitored dust and air, and we were just getting 20.9000. Here's what the weather pack was in the weather situation on December 13th. So remember, information is power when it comes to wireless. The Connex Pro is really when you start linking other people from other sites using the internet or using the web or the Internet of Things, which is now being called. You can actually take multiple points. I have a customer that's in central Oklahoma, and they've got 5 different facilities that they run from this one place in Oklahoma. So they got 2 in Iowa, they've got 1 in Indiana, 1 in Illinois, and 1 in Kansas. So what you can do is you can have your computer system running at each one of those facilities, and they're sending information to the internet, and zing, you can send it off to the person, and you can actually see it for yourself. If something goes into alarm at 8:35 this morning, it's going to show up on my computer screen, and I'm at that main computer. I can call up Oklahoma, or I can call up Nebraska and say, hey, what's going on out there? And they'll say, oh, our system burped today, and we have it under control. How'd you find out? Because I saw it on my Connex platform. So this, as you can see, a lot of people right now are starting to get turned on by the pack, because it's an entry-level way to go from here and then to here. So a lot of guys, especially like at oil refineries or chemical plants, I even have an auto manufacturing facility in Indiana, and what they do is all their four-gas monitors are wirelessly enabled, because down the line they want to do this. They want to do a Connex Pro. In other words, they want to have plant safety. This plant's like 2 billion square feet, and they want to be able to see people's gas detectors working all the time. So it's a pretty ambitious plan, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen eventually. But if they get the infrastructure in, we at RAE Systems and Connex can actually do a survey for people and make it affordable and customize it to their liking. Whoops. So from the Connex pack, let's just real quickly blow right through this. It's an application-focused wireless kit that gives you the simplicity to want the real-time knowledge of your demand. These custom kits are entry-level solutions and routinely maintenance for complying monitors. I've got a guy in Madison, Wisconsin. He makes those. It's a customer that makes those stainless steel containments that you'd see at like microbrews. And so these containers are food-grade quality products. And so they take rolled stainless steel and they mate them together, and they have to weld it together, and then they have to grind it, and they have to grind it and make it look seamless. They also have to put a top and a bottom cap on it. And once you put a cap on it, now it's a confined space. So he came to me and says, look, I don't want this mumbo jumbo of a wireless platform, da-da-da-da. I just want to be able to see something, but I have 4 stations, and I can't have 4 people standing around there smoking a cigarette or just joking with the guys while they're welding and grinding. I want to be able to see something wireless. So literally, he has a desk in the middle of this facility. It's a 45,000 square foot facility. He's got to the right, he's got a compartment on the right, to the left of each of the desk, and then 2 in front of him, and he's monitoring the 4 places with his wireless technology. and he's using three gas diffusion units, because if he had pumps on them, the guys would fall asleep inside the chambers. It's crazy as it sounds. The guy was asking, he told me that he was in a lunchroom talking with guys, and he says, wouldn't it be great if I can have something wirelessly enabled that I can do this? And I walked in there, I said, it's already there, we have it. And the guy flipped out. It was like I could push him off his chair. He was going bananas. And on top of this, he says, well, can I take this radio piece, the EchoView, can I walk around? And we did not lose a signal throughout a 45,000 square foot facility. It had H-frames, it had boxes, it had stainless steel all over it. So as you can tell, it is a very good, robust network for someone to get into an entry-level wireless platform. And this is how it works. This is your EchoView right here, and it can see up to 8 monitors at one time. Now the distances between the 4 gas meters and the EchoView is approximately 660 feet, and then that's being conservative. I've seen people go as far as 800 to 900 feet, but obviously if there's foliage, hills, steel, it doesn't work when you're in an explosion room, like it's got 1-foot concrete walls. Then you're going to have some shorter distances, but eventually it will work its way out. This is what the display looks like on the EchoView, and you can see up to 8 people at one time. The EchoView host interface can be modified. In other words, that these alphanumerics can be changed, so you can put John, Bob, Earl, whoever, and you can modify these so that everybody can have their own personal gas monitor. You're getting data logger with each monitor, and I can see what your EchoView is, my EchoView can actually see what your monitor is reading in real time. Now, to cut back on your battery time, I'm sure people are thinking, okay, that's going to suck your battery dry. Not really, because you can set this up for every 30 seconds, every 60 seconds, or even 120. So it just sends a ping every 120 saying, hey, I'm still here and this is what I'm reading. Now, if I'm number 7, if I'm Meg here, you'll notice that the circles, this means that we're online. If we're offline, you'll notice that the circle will not be a circle, but it'll have an X through it. If Meg went into alarm, kind of like what Bob and John are do, that circle turns into a star, and Meg would automatically jump to number 1. If it's darkened like this, that means that I can press my mode key and I can read in real time what John is reading. And then I can press the plus or minus arrow key and I can scroll down to Bob and I can see what Bob's being exposed to. So it's very important that you guys understand. This is another nice picture that you guys will be able to see. You can see up to 3 monitors. It's actually more. You can actually see up to 8 monitors. But this tells me, if you look at, you can have actually 3 EchoViews at one time seeing up to 4 people. So if you have 2 different managers or you have people on both sides of that 45,000 square foot facility, you're not going to be confusing the monitors. It'll send a signal to this one, the second one, or the third one. If any of these are being used, or if a mesh router is being used, a mesh router does 2 things. It checks your signal strength and tells you how strong your signal is from the QRA3 from here to one of these EchoViews. Or it can be used as an extension or distance. It'll strengthen your distance. So it's very important that you understand that if you're going to have multiple EchoViews, you can have up to 3. But if you're going to have a router that's going to try to extend your distances, then you only be able to use 1 EchoView for these 4 monitors. I hope I'm not going too fast for people. Now the Connects Plus, we just renamed or repackaged this term Connects Plus. We at RAE Systems have been doing Connects Plus for years, mostly in the fire market, the hazmat market. They roll on scene. Let's say there's a rollover. There's really big topics here in Chicago, or up in the Midwest. You have those rollovers with those trains coming from the Bakken, from North Dakota. Basically, what they do is they want to roll off the truck. They want to fire up the computer, turn on their area rays and their air quality products, maybe even a weather pack, and they boom, have an instant system. With this particular setup, you have 64 monitors that you can do at one time, and you can do this for hours, days. It does not matter. It's usually a project-based product, and once you do it once, you'll never forget. It's like riding a bike. You can even do portable personal monitors on them, and how you send your signal back is by the personal modems. So this is a PPB RAE Plus. It's a PID, and it sends a signal a Bluetooth signal from here to the RAE 3, which sends back to the host computer. So this is it's a transportable design and easy to make, perfectly suited for responding to your next project. So again, this is a project-based type of system. Then we have probably the pinnacle of the platform, and that's called Connex Pro. Connex Pro is also codenamed at RAE Systems Plant Safety. So if you ever have a customer, or you have maybe your own company, they thought to themselves, you know what, I would love to have monitors 24/7. I would love to have data logging. I would love to have my test bench linked up to properly keep my data logging straight. And boy, wouldn't it be interesting if we can send something from Monticello, Illinois, all the way to Clinton, Iowa? The answer is it's doable. You can do that. As long as you have the ProRAE Guardian software, you have the passcodes, and the people in Monticello will give you permission. They actually check the box saying it's okay for outside people to review what information I'm sending out. Those people in Monticello right here can send the signal to the cloud, and through the internet, through the wonders of the internet, send it back to the main office in Clinton, Iowa. It's designed to be the ultimate wireless gas detection, provides full enterprise solutions that delivers the most comprehensive, highest level of intelligence, meaning that if you have any dark areas and guys are losing something as simple as a cell phone, they'll say, oh, those are dark areas, those are black holes. If you have a phone, you're going to get lost in those areas. We at RAE Systems will have a party go out there, and we can actually do a survey and help you extend your distances, extend to areas that have problems, like being dark zones that they can't do. Your monitor operation areas, personnel will always be on and always ready. Permanent wireless communication infrastructure is in place. In other words, we have the ability to set up these routers and repeaters. It's affordable, and we would be able to do a maximum of 2,000 or even higher. We're talking single gas, four gas with PID, standalone PIDs, and fixed points. So remember what I said about the technologies all coming together, and that's what the Connex Pro can do for you. Again, if you dream it, we build it. And what we're starting to see is an increase in gas detection programs in the ethanol industry and in ammonia plants. And the reason for it is because they've had a lot of problems, or maybe overexposures, or sometimes the plant will burp and they'll have an issue, and then of course the workers or the unions start to complain about worker safety. Well, if we have a solid gas detection program, or even a platform in place, that when a guy shows up, he puts his FRs on, he puts his hard hat and gloves on, and his eye protection, and he walks out with his gas monitor, boom, it clicks up and it attaches to the internet. I'm not saying the internet, but the software and the wireless platform every single time. And we're starting to see that. We even have area, like I think in Louisiana, we have an area that had very bad high exposure levels from the oil and gas industry, and I think there's something like 240 homes, and each one of those houses is a single gas monitor that is wirelessly enabled, and outside along the streets are our RAE our RAE points that are kicking a signal back, so people in Houston or people in New Orleans can actually see in real time what's happening, and you're going to see a diagram of that later on. So as a review, you want a good mindset for a gas detection platform is trust, verify, and enforce. This is basically a return on investment on how the different levels of wireless gas detection can really affect any customer, starting at the pack. The pack is a low-cost alternative that plants the seeds to go from the Plus to even a Pro. Again, the platform for Plus is really an event type of issue, whereas the Connex Pro would be more or less a permanent solution for gas detection. So you can see again here, from a reactive standpoint, it's basic protection and performance. So this is basically your go, no-go type of system. Preventative. It's an improved safety and operational efficiency program. So preventative, you're kind of putting the horse in front of the cart 2 or 3 levels in front of it because you're really trying to stay ahead. Proactive, this is another way of, it's an elevated safety platform where people can't go anywhere without a gas detection, and of course advanced, so you have an optimized EHS program that basically says that our gas detection program dictates a lot of what we do here and how we monitor our safety platform. Now it's time to redefine safety. At Honeywell, Analytics focus on creative, safer and smarter workplaces worldwide continues to grow and improve, offering gas detection solutions that spot small problems before they become bigger issues. The newest additions to the enhanced safety category establishes a new industry standard for real-time intelligence. What does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. It means exactly what I said before about that furniture company here in Chicago. If you dream it, we will build it. And I think I'm trying not to make this sound like a sales pitch by any means. However, people need to understand exactly where to go or if this is out there. I mean, how many times have people been sitting like at a lunchroom table or in a bar and they say, what if we could do this? Boy, I wish we could take this, and boy, it would keep the corporate people off my back if I can send the signal and they can see it in real time. It's out there. But the key thing you guys need to understand is it's more affordable now than ever before. And I think that it's going to be very important for you guys to give it some serious considerations. You know, what the wireless does, it does you comprehensive coverages. It's very comprehensive for workers and health and safety, regulation compliance, and environmental protection, and optimizing operations. Optimizing operations, what does that mean? Basically, that tells me is it makes things move a lot smoother and keeps workers, it keeps gas detection off the worker's mind and more so on their job. And best of all, workers trusting their instruments. And the hazards that you're looking at are pretty typical, you know, oxygen deficiencies, toxic gases, flammables, particulates, radiation. You're starting to see an increase with radiation, natural-born radiation. You see that in oil platforms when they're pulling out, when they're fracking. You'll also see radiation, some of the radiation plants. I know there's a radiation plant by Clinton, Iowa. There's one in Zion, Illinois. I mean, we can keep going, but radiation is extremely important. And physiological stress. How would you like to wear like a band that goes around your trunk or your chest? And we can get real-time information for stress. What a lot of people will do is they'll run stress tests. Stress tests, so that if people are dropping like flies or they're fainting or they're having problems, you can actually run a physiological stress test wearing one of our, it's called a life shirt. And if you wear a life shirt, you can actually see what that person's going through, what his body temperature is, what is, you know, is he standing, is he sitting, is he prone, oxygen in his system, breathing rate. So you can get all those physiological stresses. And these are a lot of the markets that we hit. Emergency response turnaround projects. These are all areas that benefit from a wireless platform. Here's a wireless fence line monitoring. This is from a refinery in Toledo, Ohio, and that's a mesh guard. And what this does is it sends a signal back almost 1,000 feet, and it will. If you see this fence right here, there's probably about 20 or 30 of these pods along this fence, and they can pretty much pick where the leak is coming from. And this is actually a methane sensor, and there's a methane line underneath the stones right here. And if that tends to rust or a heavy object lands on it and breaks that, they'll be able to pick up within 10 feet of where that breakage is. And then, of course, asset management. So if you look at the Connect Safety vision, it's always on, always connected to all your instruments. It's feeding real-time data and shared across the company. It could be sent from the worker to the control room. It can go to the control room, and then people from industrial hygiene can look at it. And then, of course, if you wanted to, you can share that data with your corporate headquarters. Like, for instance, I know there's some questions being asked at the Citgo oil refinery here in the Chicago area, where they want to be able to have people get alarms of gas detection problems on their smartphones. So picture this. You got a guy who's in the Alki unit, and his unit goes into alarm. The old days was just the guy in the control room would see his ringing, and then now you can see a guy in the industrial hygiene in the admin building. He's seeing what's happening in real time. And then you have a foreman who's got a cell phone, and even though he can use his cell phone at any times, ProRAE Guardian will pop up on his cell phone as an observer, and he can see in real time what's going on, who's having problems, and what the issue is, and make quicker decisions. Instruments spanning full range, fixed, semi. Again, I told you guys about this. You can use different technologies: fixed systems, semi-fixed, portable, and personal monitors. You can do with the wonders of technology. You can do thousands of points aggregated and analyzed. Historical data is logged, just like I said with that steel plant. Historical data is logged for future access and analysis. So it's not really wireless, but it's connected. And again, this is something I really have to focus with you guys at home, is that it's not just another wireless. You know, people think Motorola's Motorola, wireless is wireless, but it's a connected system that does multiple things for a customer. It sounds really cheesy, but when the chips are down and a guy looks at you and says, I'm having health problems because I've been exposed to SO2 and H2S. I've been knocked down 5 times. Okay, when was it? Oh, this is since 2012. You can go back to your historic data and you can pull that information out and say either the guy's a liar or, okay, let's talk about this. Did you report this information? Do we have anything in your medical file? You guys, I think you guys should get the point. These are typical components of the Pro. This is a really nice picture of what we could do here. You can actually take an engineering drawing and you can save it as a JPEG and you can put it on your software, or with the wonders of software and the internet, you can actually take a Google map and you can have a Google map right here, and then however monitors you have right here, I can click on any one of these detectors and I can get real-time, real information here. You can even get plume modeling. We work with a product, it's produced by Safer Systems, or if your plant or your customer has plume modeling software, you would be able to just mirror it right over the whole system, and you can watch the plume modeling develop with the software. And it's very simple and easy to use. It takes a little bit of time. I'm not saying it's going to be 5 minutes, but once it gets up and running, it's fantastic. And this is an example of what we can do for you here. Real-time monitoring software. This is with ProRAE Guardian. So you can get an aerial view of the facility, or you can get a JPEG picture off the internet, or if they have something, you can save that picture. So it gives you real-time monitoring software for displaying and archiving critical safety data. So all of this information, the clock is ticking in the background of that software. The remote alarming notifications and displays on mobile platforms. In other words, not only will not only will the user go into alarm, but the alarm will actually notify here on the software, and the software can actually release a signal to an audible and a visual alarm outside into the field. You can also send a signal to other locations and other people's smartphones saying, hey, we have a man down. And you also can share data with third-party systems, like I talked about the dust track and the weather pack. And this is what the wireless infrastructure looks like. So we can do things with solar panels. This is for Wi-Fi, and this is for RAE Systems mesh network systems. So as I told you before, that if you have any dark areas, or if you have like blacked out areas that you cannot get even a cell phone signal through, we would be able to place these strategically throughout the facility and zing, send the signal back to your main computer. They're fixed access points for communication for real-time monitoring software. Their self-forming networks automatically determines the best path of data transmission. In other words, we can pretty much predict if you tell us where you want that where that information to go. We can actually take this information and go around large objects. We can go through large objects. We can, if something goes down, it'll self-heal itself. It provides location information for detectors. Remember, folks, if you have a Wi-Fi system, you can triangulate your GPS for a personal monitor. With mesh, basically this piece right here will go into alarm, and you'll be anywhere between 50 and 600 feet of this facility to find a person. So we're still working on the We're still working on the GPS coordinates, especially for individual mesh, but I think in phase 2 with Connect Pro, this will be a very good possibility to match this operation. And then, of course, taking docking systems and taking this information and feeding it, making a networkable dock station for high-volume users to automate daily maintenance of their monitors. You can go to oil refineries, you can go to steel plants, and at every door in every building is a docking station. And a guy takes his yellow monitor and puts it in the docking station, and I think it's, I don't know, 12, 15 seconds, boom, his bump test is done, his monitor doesn't alarm anymore, and it's already data logged inside this meter, and this meter is linked to the ProRay software and tells you, yes, meter 123 has been bump tested on May 20th, 2014. You can also have your docking stations here too, where you can do bumping or calibration of your monitors, and the instrument fleet management takes all the guessing games on how strong your sensors are, when was it last bumped, when was it last calibrated. It's very important to understand that the Connect Pro links all of this system together into one platform. So from a personal standpoint, you got single gas, you got multi-gas, another multi-gas monitor, and then you have your 4-gas with PID. We have survey information right here, that's your Multi-Ray Pro, and then these are PIDs or photo ionization detectors. There's your Ultra-Ray 3000, that's a benzene-specific monitor. Then you have transportable and /fixed systems. That's what I tell people about what MeshGuard and what AreaRAE is. They are transportable fixed systems, meaning that you don't have to run Class 1 D1 wires, or you don't have to have intrinsically safe wiring for these because they work wirelessly. The old argument was in gas detection, if it has an antenna, it'll never be Class 1 D1. Well, I got news for you. The MeshGuard system with the antenna, our whole system is Class 1 D1. I will say this, AreaRAEs, the highest you can get is Class 1 D2, but still we use these a lot in ELK units, refinery chemical plants, and then of course you have your third-party products. This is what the mesh shirt looks like, or the bioharness, what it looks like. This little sensor goes underneath your arm and catches all the information that you can get and sends a signal back to the ProRay software. This is the Dust Track 2, and this is the Weather Pack. This is made by Coastal out of Seattle, Washington. Actually, their building is in the shadows of that football field where I can't remember what the name is, but where the Seahawks play. They can literally park. It's pretty cool. I guess that's one of the perks of working there, is you can go to a game and you can park your car there for free and walk to the stadium. So this is a mesh system, how it will simply work. Remember what I said, guys. You would have these located throughout your facility. Not as many as you think. The range on these is 600. Well, actually, with the multi-ray, it could be anywhere between 600 and 1,000 feet. So if I have this monitor in my hand, zing, it sends a signal to here, and it boomerangs it back to the RAE mesh reader. The RAE mesh reader is hooked up to your computer, and you'd be able to see everything, including your maps, your data, the individual sensor information, and then if any faults or anything comes up, you'd be able to see that. You can do single gas, 4-gas with PID. It does not matter. It can run, I don't know, something like each one of these RAE points can run like 64 points at once. So it's really, really neat. So it's rapidly deployable infrastructure. It has a wide range of gas detection selections. It easily integrates semi-fixed and transportable monitors and third-party solutions. In other words, I come out of the dressing room, I walk out of the oil refinery, within seconds this signal will send a signal to RAE point going back to the computer so the people in the control room can see what I'm doing. This is a Wi-Fi system. As you notice, it's completely different than the mesh system. There's a lot of plants out there that, I'd say more so than not, have Wi-Fi connection throughout their facility. So we offer to both technologies because we just don't know what the customer has. In this case, you have Wi-Fi infrastructure throughout the facility already at your customer. If we walked out there with these 3 single gas meters, they will communicate, and as you can see, it'll triangulate and tell you within, I think, something like 20, 22 feet of where you are located. So this is like the ultimate in in GPS. There's talk at RAE Systems that, would we offer mesh versus Wi-Fi? Remember, guys, there's pluses and minuses in everything in life, just like in wireless technology. You can get better distances with the mesh technology, but you get better data with the Wi-Fi infrastructure. So it just depends, again, what the customer wants. You get an increase in return on investment. You get the identifying location operator, so where this guy is, you can see where he's at. Two-way communication text, so I can actually text a message back to a customer, and then integrates, of course, third-party people. So let's go back to that original screen. Remember, those were red? So from a safety perspective, we're being proactive. Safety provides plant with wide protection. We have productivity, so we got real-time 24/7, increase operational efficiencies, and of course, compliance, which verified work rules and reduce enterprise liabilities. So as you can see, these are linked together very closely, and they all mean something, and that's how you can link them all together with wireless. And with our Connect solution with the partnership, we're a one-stop single-source provider. We're not only the only one in class that does this, but we are the best in class, and we are a trusted partner because we have been involved in wireless for so long. We offer the most comprehensive and flexible solutions available, field tested and proven. If you don't believe me, we can send a team to your facility or to your customer, and we can do a 10-day, 2-week evaluation and show the customer how effective our system can work. And then, of course, the ultimate is it's continuous innovation technology platform. In other words, it's like software, guys. You can always keep adding on to it. And what's important here is that a lot of people come to us and says, it'd be great if you can partner with this company. Well, RAE Systems has done that in the past. How do you think we got involved with the Dust Track 2? Because we had so many customers saying, boy, wouldn't it be great if you guys can do Dust on your platform too? And we worked out a relationship with the Dust Track people, with TSI, and they're a part of our network. So the best way to experience this intelligent gas systems is go to raesystems.com. You can download the demo ProRAE guarding software. It has a time bomb in it for about 60 days. You'd be able to have it on your computer. The username is admin, and the password, of course, how creative, is Ray. You can also email me at thomas.kochevar, that's Kochevar, it's pronounced like Kochevar team, at honeywell.com. And I'd be glad to have, help and answer any questions that you might have regarding wireless technology. It's a lot of fun. I think from you as a distributor, it increases your credibility because every time you go see your customer, hopefully your customer's not sick of you, but they kind of look at you as, hey, what's the latest thing in health and safety? What's the latest thing in gas detection? And if you show them or turn this on to the wireless gas detection program, you can actually see the wheels turning inside their minds and saying, you know what, this wireless stuff, it really isn't bad at all. It's something really to look at. And what they'll do is they'll start chitter-chattering. And you know who are the most influential people when it comes to larger facilities? It's not health and safety. It's not the LKey managers. It's the IT people. Those are the most influential people because a lot of people say, oh crap, there's no way that I'm going to be able to put software. I got to bring my own laptop in to calibrate instruments because we just got firewalls on top of firewalls. But when you bring IT in, and the best way I can say it, and I'm not an IT guy by any means, but if I bring an IT guy in and I have my IT people talking to their IT people and they start talking and communicating with each other as they do, it is unbelievable watching the light bulbs turn on and then they look at the health and safety people or the LKey people or the managers of the plant and they say, yes, we can do this. And that's really the unspoken secret of selling a wireless platform is you've already convinced health and safety you want to do it. It's now your turn to go to the IT people to figure out, can this work or will they allow it to work? And once they get involved, I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised by the reaction from those people. And then, of course, you can customize things. So with that, I want to say thank you, everybody. I hope I didn't babble too on with my stories, anecdotes, and bad jokes. But if anybody has any questions, we'll be glad to stick around and answer any questions. Tom, do you have any comments or anything?
No, appreciate all the information. We did have a few questions come through, and hopefully we can address those. I know we're going to try to wrap this up here by 1. So, one, have you guys run into any environments that using the wireless has caused challenges, where just it doesn't seem to be a good fit?
You know what? That's kind of a tripwire question. Okay.
Okay.
Because most of the times, what I have, my main problem with a wireless technology would be probably distance. I've been at a facility where a guy goes, I really need to have this, but it's 5 miles away. And I'm like, well, do you have any resources that you can put a computer there that they can boomerang a signal out there? Like, no, we don't have anything like that. Sometimes we just are confined to the technology that's available to us, but we are constantly trying to increase distances. And of course, when you increase distances, you are slowing things down. So that's one problem. And then you just sometimes will have the wrong people in the room. A lot of people tend not to think about moving forward with their gas detection program. They're like, hey, man, I've been here 20 years, or I've been here 17 years, and we've done this the same way. I don't want to change anything. Sometimes you'll get workers that'll say, look, this is Big Brother. I got a guy, truth be told, he wanted to put the man down alarm on it because he's found people sleeping on the job. And not only will that monitor go into alarm if he's trying to take a nap, but it'll show up on the computer screen and it'll show up as a man down. I don't know if they have to report that or they have to explain, yes, worker fell asleep at 2:13 on January 12th.
All right, very good. Question about the software. Can you use that to to change the settings from a distance? So I guess rather than before it goes out in the field, can you change those settings while they're out in the field?
Yes, you can. It's a Windows-based computer system that the software, the disk is $80, and we basically sell it on licenses on the number of monitors. And I can't really quote you a price on it because it's based on volume. It is a Windows-based product that you would be able to customize it. So if you have a monitor, let's say you're an oil refinery, a steel plant, and you got CO levels everywhere, and our monitors or the system is set up for 35 ppm, the American Industrial Hygiene level for low-level CO, you would be able to take that and change it within the system if you wanted to 75 or 100. I'm just making this up. But yes, you would be able to customize it.
Okay. So I think that's about it for questions that came through. If anybody out there comes up with any, please send them our way. Tom gave his email address. You can also send them to me at tom@raco.com. So we're going to get this wrapped up. We thank everybody for joining us. We'll have another webinar next month, so keep your eyes open for that. So we'll be sending out invites. So Tom, we really appreciate your time, appreciate the information, and everyone have a great day.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great and safe weekend.